All right, everybody. Thank you so much for your patience. Let's go ahead and get started. And Dave, I will pass it over to you.
Great. Thank you. And I will pass it back to you in a second because I want to thank Safe for making this happen. You called me a month ago to say, hey, do you think this would be a good idea? Heck, yes, a great idea. Appreciate your outreach to the members on your list. And I think we have a very concise, short, and hopefully mildly entertaining presentation for folks.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you, everybody, too, for joining us today for our Finish the LA River Bike Path by 2028 webinar. We'll keep things moving quickly, and there will be opportunity for discussion further on as well. We'll just start off with quick introductions. My name is Brett Slogenhop. I'm the Director of LA County Advocacy at Street Surf for Everyone. To introduce SAFE for those who may not be aware, SAFE is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Our mission aims to improve the quality of life for pedestrians, cyclists, and all road users alike by reducing traffic fatalities to zero. Our work is split across four categories. We have our grassroots advocacy across LA County, our statewide policy work, our annual Streets Art Safe film and poster competition, where we work with high school students as they create PSA centered around traffic safety. And finally, our safe support for victims of traffic violence, where we provide resources and help for those who have been either personally impacted or those who have had their loved ones impacted as well.
And I will go ahead and introduce the festival trail. My name is Miriam Barzemmer. I'm the program manager with the festival trail. We're an initiative that started as a research project about 3 years ago now, with Chris Torres out of Agency Artifact and co-founders Hillary Norton, who's on this call, and Eli Lippman. Um, they are visionaries and leaders in the mobility and urban planning space in Los Angeles, and they really wanted to see that the Olympics that are coming to Los Angeles in 2028 leave a lasting legacy for communities, not just for the rich and famous, or leave no legacy at all. So we are here as advocates, and Festival Trail has become a 501c3 as well recently, and is moving forward the vision to make a more connected Los Angeles via walking trails, rolling trails, and activated public spaces across the city that will serve neighborhoods and communities for years to come. And I will pass it on to Dave, I believe.
Great. And Lucia works with you. Lucia is with the Festival Trail and works with me, works with us, with the Festival Trail doing social media. And she will have an important part later when we have breakout groups. I will introduce myself for a minute and then talk about the River Path. I have somehow, my name is Dave Snyder. I have somehow made a career out of bicycle advocacy as the founder of the San Francisco Bicycle Coalition, and then more recently as the head of the California Bicycle Coalition. What I love about having managed to make a career about bike advocacy is all the ways that more bicycling contributes to social justice and joy. That's what I love about it. But my favorite part is winning. My favorite part is winning campaigns against difficult odds. And that's what we got here. I was brought on board to manage the campaign to finish the LA River Bike Path by the summer of 2028. Who here thinks that it's crazy that with no official approval right now, that we can win the decisions that we need to build 8 miles of bike path 27 months from now? Who thinks that's crazy? Well, if you do, you're wrong. It's audacious. It's audacious, but it's not crazy. There is a clear path to getting it done. It might involve you and your help. That's why you're here. That's what this webinar is about. I'll now go into a short presentation about the path itself, and then a little bit about the campaign to get it built. So as you uh, just go back to the beginning. This is the LA River bike path as it exists today. You've seen segments that look like this, you've seen segments that look like that, and you know that it is not complete as the map on the right shows. You might also know that the sections up there at the top pretty much all have plans in place to be complete through various agencies. But this section has no officially approved plan to be finished anytime soon. We are going to finish that by 2028. It's 8 miles from Arroyo Seco to Vernon. There is funding. Measure M approved $400 million in funding in 2016. The problem is that Metro's plans cost at least $1.1 billion. That's probably an underestimate. They don't have the money. They have no plans to find the money. And it's conventional wisdom that I agree with that it's going to be really, really hard to find more than $1 billion to build a bike path, given all of LA's funding challenges. But the good news is that there is a way to get this done by building the path in the channel. This was the idea from more than a decade ago, which is what the funding amount was based on, a sort of generous estimate of how much it would cost to build the path in the channel. The picture on the left gives you an idea of what it could look like. Here's an idea of how it will connect with the path on the surface. These are for those of you who like schematics and engineering type diagrams. This shows you how the path cut into the side of the channel won't change the water flow, and the path at the bottom can be elevated above the water for those sections of the river where the water stretches all the way across the bottom. It'll still be a wonderful, great, beautiful ride. The path is an important part of the festival trail. It's why the festival trail has adopted finishing the LA River Path as one of its priorities. It's going to connect so many of the venues for the Olympics, not to mention the long-term and amazing social benefit for Angelenos going forward. I think a lot of people who have doubts or issues with the investment that the city is making in the Olympics, considering all of the needs of the city. Do hope that at least those investments will result in permanent infrastructure benefit for local residents. And this is a great example of that. And this is a drawing. This is something that Chris Torres's firm did. And Miriam, you can correct me on that. Uh, to illustrate what it could look like. It's going to provide open space for neighborhoods that really need it. And I think that even though an in-channel path is not going to be available 365 days a year, it will be available probably like 350 days a year. And it's better in a sense than the path on the top because of how it connects Angelenos to the river. So that's the details of the path. We'll have an opportunity for questions shortly. Um, why don't we go to Brett? And why don't you talk, Brett, about why SAFE cares about this and a little more than I said about it's important in the overall transportation system. And then I will follow that with some next steps for the campaign.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll be echoing, a good amount of what Dave also mentioned. But SAFE definitely cares very deeply about seeing this project to its fruition because closing this gap would really create a continuous 32-mile path linking cities in a city that is really historically divided by freeways, making it a safe corridor for people biking, walking, rolling, and running around along the river. But it's not just about providing a place for recreation, although that is certainly an aspect to it. It's about building out better connectivity and access to your city and county without a focus on cars, as LA is so historically. The bike path would be a dramatic game changer by providing a dedicated bike lane without the risk of being hit by a vehicle. It provides an environment that's clear of pollution, both air and noise. Imagine a world in which you are, instead of listening to the sound of engines, riders can calmly enjoy the sounds of birds and, connect with your community and, just have that sense of calm while also being able to travel throughout your city. It also opens us up to the creation of even more connections moving forward, connecting to the Arroyo Seco and San Gabriel, connecting to the Rails to Rails in South LA, and even more beyond that. And this connectivity would provide car independence and access to jobs, schools, transit, parks, and local businesses, especially for communities that have long been underserved by safe transportation options. This would really be an opportunity for mode shift and opening up a new alternative for travel around LA County. And there's, I could speak for 10 more hours about why this is so important. And we'll have an opportunity, to also discuss in our breakout sessions later. But I'll pass it back to Dave for calls to action.
Great, thank you. So how in the world are we going to get this done? The path is to create, well, there's two steps. Step one is to get LA Metro, who right now owns the project, to change the scope from an above channel path, which costs well over $1 billion, to an in-channel path, which we can do within the budget. That is a decision that the board can make at its board meetings. Your elected officials are on that board. And then the second part is to get them to approve the creation of a joint powers authority. That is a public agency that is dedicated to a single infrastructure project for its construction and usually maintenance. It is a common model for trails all over the country and even for some of the transit projects in Los Angeles. That also requires a vote of the Metro board. So those are our uh, um, first two goals. The creation of a JPA, I'm very confident that if we can get that created quickly, we can get this done because we have on our team, and we know thanks to Yuval Bar Zemer, we have the expertise and the experience with building and with the Army Corps, with hydrologists. We've done the studies. We know that this can be done uh, in time to finish by 2028 if we just get Metro to agree to it. Um, there is one quick thing that you can do if you haven't done it already. I suspect many of you already have, but if you haven't done it already, I encourage you to write your supervisor. And I'm going to put a link in the chat right now for you to click on right now and send. Oops, send it to everyone. There you go. And send an email to your supervisor. That link, once you fill in your information, will bring up your own email service so that you can add and customize it however you want. It's a more powerful way than something that's obvious, a little more obviously a form letter. And then the next, another thing that, well, we have a bunch of different things you can do, and I'm going to pass it off now to let's see who's to Brett to talk about breakout groups. But wait, first, let's stop for questions. we're going to have about 10 minutes of questions here, and then uh, um, and then we're going to go into some breakout groups to talk in a little more detail and to get your ideas in conversation about what uh, you can do and what you think we should do to make sure this happens. So does anybody have questions? Looks like Jim does. And Brett, you're going to unmute people, right? And they can just verbalize it.
Yep, people are also welcome to unmute as well.
Great. Brett, can you please call on
Yeah,
people?
will do.
And why don't we start? I'll do the first one. Jim, you were first, so why don't you start?
Great, thanks, Matt. Obviously, this is quite exciting, and we're happy to, play whatever role we can to support. I know that working with the Army Corps is a nightmare. We know just from a small project here in Culver City that something that's very less invasive is about a year in approvals alone, and if it's very invasive, could take over 10. So I'm really interested in how that's going to get expedited on something like this, which is clearly on the invasive level because it's down in the channel and it's not just up and above and can be easily excused. So what is the plan forward to expedite that and get over those hurdles?
Yeah, good question. We think that the construction of the path at the bottom of the channel does not require the Army Corps permit. That is the more difficult one because it's more disruptive, because it does not change the flow of the water. The approval for the permit that builds the ramps into the side of the channel, you're cutting into the concrete itself. That probably will require that longer permit, and that could easily be a 9-month process, which is why we need to get rolling right away and it could be a 10-year process, like you say, but it's a minimum 9 months. And we think that with a really strong campaign, we can get it done. But the bulk of it, the 8 miles on the bottom, probably does not require that longer permit.
Great, and I'll pass it over to Shane for your question.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if Metro staff or board members or supervisors have made any statements either publicly or not so publicly about where they kind of stand on the in-channel option. Um, you know,
Just
how
real man.
how much of that is a barrier? Yeah.
Sure. I'll ask anyone else on the Festival Trail team who can speak to the question regarding staff. I'll answer the question regarding the board members and elected officials, and that is that to a person in genuine conversations, they have all supported the in-channel path. They all agree that, yeah, this is the way to go. Um, and it's the challenge is getting them to believe that we can do it quickly in order to prompt the urgency and the quick action that we need. And I know that internally some people think it's a good idea and some people don't. And I'll give another few seconds if anyone can add to that. Otherwise, we can go to the next question.
Yeah, to your point, Dave, I think there's predominantly there's just curiosity and a bit of a history lesson that has to be had about what happened 10 years ago, why this new proposal that's way out of budget stands today. But once they see the studies that were done, they're very open to the option in general. And I think the main question that arises is risk and safety, which ultimately we have precedents to show that in-channel bike paths are feasible, and there is also risks with above channel, and the likelihood of that being delivered is very slim in the near future, given just the complicated land use along the river and risks there.
Great. Thank you, Miriam.
Yeah.
Anybody else on that question before I go to the next? Okay. Addressing the questions in the chat. No, this is not part of the Biona Creek bike path extension. That is a separate project, but that brings up an important point that I neglected to mention, which is that the Arroyo Creek bike path uh, could be and should be extended to the LA River. If we are correct in the estimate of cost and it comes in well under what is set aside in Measure M, we'll have extra money for that connection. The Arroyo Creek path is probably the first priority, but there are other priorities too to get people from their neighborhoods to the path. Well, we may, and like I said, if we're correct about the spending, the cost, we don't know, but it may be that we can. Also build some connecting paths with the funding. And yes, the in-channel option is indeed available for all 8 miles. This comes for a Metro board vote this very month, and they have another meeting in February, and it might take a couple. And if you sign up on the mailing list, you will not miss hearing about it. And I'm going to put that link in the chat right now. Hmm.
John asks a follow-up question asking if it's been agendized for the Metro board
Not
meetings.
yet. No. So why don't we, how many people do we have, Brett, on this call?
We have 30.
Um, Perfect. Why don't we go into the breakout groups now? The idea here is to give you all a chance to talk about why this is important to you and what you can personally do to help make this happen. We're gonna have three breakout groups, and I'm gonna let Brett get started with describing them.
Yep. So as Dave just said, we're going to open up 3 breakout rooms. It's an opportunity for us to have kind of group discussions and brainstorm around 3 specific topics. The topic that I'll be leading, if you so choose to join my breakout room, is in-person outreach. So that's flyering, attending board meetings, attending events, spreading the word for this project within the organizations you are already on. And I'll pass it over to Lucia to talk about Breakout Room 2.
Hi, everyone. So in my breakout room, we're going to be talking about social media. So we are looking to gain as much visibility as possible on this campaign, and that means broadening our reach via social media. So we have a target goal of 20 posts in the next 3 months, and we need your help to make that happen. So if you have access to an Instagram, a LinkedIn, a Facebook account, any social media with any sort of follower account, but in particular an organization, we'd really love to have you post about the Bike Path campaign and be involved in reposting content that comes from Festival Trail or from SAFE. So the exact theme of these posts are going to vary, but primarily they're informational, spreading the word, letting people know that this is an option that can be completed by 2028, and how they can get more information. So directing them to the Festival Trail website or to SAFE's website, how to sign up for the mailing list, that kind of thing. So if this sounds like something you'd be interested in helping with, please come to my breakout room and we'll have a discussion about that. And I'll pass it to our third breakout room, which is with Dave.
Yep. Hi. So the other breakout room is about a fundraiser that's happening on January 22nd. My buddy Aaron Sosnick has agreed to host at his place in Los Feliz a fundraiser. We want to raise at least $50,000 to support this campaign. It is complicated, and I have spared you some of the complications that might involve state legislation and environmental challenges. because you will hear about them on the list. I'm not going to waste your time, but what it means that it's a lot of work. We're whacking moles. We're playing whack-a-mole with every obstacle, and it takes a lot of time and resources. And so we're trying to raise money to help pay for that work. That's January 22nd. If you want to help us make that party a success, join my breakout group.
And I'll pass it over to Miriam to discuss the general space she'll be filling in while we're in our breakout rooms.
Yes, so if folks are don't exactly know where to go, I will be in this main room and we can just have an open discussion about generally advocacy around this project, but also about the Festival Trail Initiative and the work that we're doing. So I think, Brett, you'll provide the breakout room options now, and folks can self-select where they want to go. We'll take about 5 minutes, right? Per room, 5 minute discussion or so.
Yeah, let's spend 7 minutes and I'll send a notification when the rooms are closing. Hillary, just in case you have a question about the breakout rooms, do you want to say what your question is?
My question isn't about the breakout rooms. It was about the EIR and how important it may be to, voice our support this month because and to maybe talk about that before we go into the breakout.
Okay. Oh, thank you, Hillary. Yes, what is agendized at the next meeting is the consideration of the EIR that is an analysis of the above channel path. And it is essential that they understand. They already know thanks to our work, but they have to understand that the public cares a lot. That the EIR did not consider the feasible path of an in-channel alignment, and that the Metro has to not choose an alternative that's in the proposed EIR, but rather change it to an in-channel path. Did I get that right, Hillary?
Yeah, that's perfect. And just that this month is when the comment period is, so it's really timely to get that information in and to all the elected officials. So, thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Hillary. All right, I am opening up the breakout rooms now. Feel free to add yourself and ask if you have any questions. Thanks, everybody.
And I will start the reports back and just take a quick minute. Our group talked about how important it is. We had folks who understand the importance of resources to win in politics. We discussed an invitations list, and we discussed getting an attractive speaker. The idea was to present on our own and let the issue speak for itself. But it would be great to have somebody really attractive there. And if anyone has any ideas, you can DM me or if they come to you later, or throw them out right now. The art world would be totally in keeping with the theme because of Aaron's interest in art and because of the opportunity that the River Path will have to promote art. You saw on that rendering the possibility of murals on the side of the river. So somebody from the art world would be a perfectly appropriate speaker for this event. So all ears for ideas.
My cousin used to work for Dave Cho.
Awesome. Please send me.
I don't know if he's a muralist though. I think I don't know what he does anymore besides make weird shit on the internet.
Well, Kurt, please send me a direct email on that. If anyone else has any ideas, just send me a direct email or a chat. And my email address is dave@festivaltrail.org. Super easy. And I'm gonna pass off to the next breakout group report.
I can go. So we talked about in-person outreach. There's opportunity to set up meetings with supervisor field offices. So we'll send out signups for that and provide additional information on, speaking notes and the like for those sorts of meetings. We also talked about flyering in places that create more access to people who may not necessarily be well connected to the internet, places like libraries, senior centers, bike co-ops, taking advantage of large scale events that are centered around active transportation like cyclovia, like critical mass, and just getting creative with the ways that we do self-promotion, whether that be having funky t-shirts or, putting QR codes at the ends of the LA River bike path as they exist now, basically showcasing, wouldn't it be great if this kept going and you were able to go through downtown and connect with Long Beach or connect with San Fernando Valley in either direction. And that's, just the tip of the iceberg, and there will be opportunity for us to, continue brainstorming as a group as we continue these conversations moving forward too.
Awesome. And I'll report about the social media breakout group. We had some really great suggestions in particular about how to tap into different communities around Los Angeles by really highlighting what opens up for them if this 8-mile path were to be completed. So thinking about showing the positives of what that opens up, like the Spoke Bicycle Cafe and that sort of beautiful section where there's soft bottomed river. And then also on the flip side of that, highlighting how difficult it is to ride through that 8-mile section right now, and sort of crowdsourcing footage from that too, of people that do that ride all the time and sort of that harrowing experience. And so, especially getting away from just infographics and having some real faces and real footage could really make that campaign on social media go further. So we are going to be developing a social media toolkit and sharing that out with all of you. And that'll include some common hashtags that we can all reference, some assets that we can use. We'll let you guys know kind of what accounts to tag, and then also yeah, just try to get that cross-pollinating as much as possible and tapping into all of our different communities. So stay tuned for that. We'll be sending it out in the post-event materials.
Great. Miriam, you can bring us home.
All right. Well, thank you for everyone who stayed in the general pool of questions. We heard great feedback and just a desire to get involved in the broader festival trail project from local organizations like the Walk and Rollers and the Long Beach Gray Panthers. And in response to that, really, the festival trail is a coalition, and we need as much visibility more broadly for the desire for connectivity outside of cars in Los Angeles, and advocacy for safe public space. And that leading into 2026 will really have a great need for building pressure, not just for the LA River bike path, but for a broader legacy for coming out of the 2028 games that serves our community. So yeah, I think the moral of our discussion was really stay tuned. We're at a pivot point as the Festival Trail organization where we are primed to unlock some serious funding, fingers crossed, with the city behind us, and we hope that those partnerships will really unlock some meaningful change and our advocacy will pay off. So please stay tuned. We really need everyone to be a part of that journey and messaging. And thank you for joining us today. It's very meaningful that you all stayed throughout the webinar.
And thank you, Brett, for making this happen.
I'm muted. Absolutely. As Miriam said, we'll definitely be sending out post-event communications. Dave just shared a link to sign up for an LA River specific mailing list. So we'll make sure that that gets sent out. There's definitely lots of opportunity to get involved with sharing the message via social media, going to board meetings, going to field offices, and initiating conversations in that way. So yeah, be on the lookout. There's more to come. And I think we can stay on if there's any lingering questions from the group. There was one question from John. How important are Karen Bass and her appointees on the Metro Board, or are we mainly focused on the county supervisors?
Now, that's a very good question. The answer is they're pretty important. I can't say they're the most important, but they're pretty important. So if you have, we opted to target the county supervisors because everybody in LA County has one that's supposed to listen to them, and they all sit on the board. And we just need to get one of them to introduce the motion, and we're confident that the rest will vote along. We've talked to the mayor's appointees on the Metro board, and just like the supervisors, they are similarly in support of this idea. They like this idea.
Great questions. Thank you.
All right, great. Thank you, everybody. We'll talk to you
Guys,
soon.
Rock.
Thanks
Guys,
for all your work. Looking forward to plugging in and helping out.
thank you.
Everybody. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a good night.